But do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do your clan a favor. Don't use a running stitch. Just don't do it. Like, seriously. Hello. So these are the most common stitches you will use to build your Mandalorian Merc. We have a straight stitch, also referred to as a running stitch, and we have two different widths of sort of a zigzag stitch, and then we have what's actually referred to as like a backstop stitch, and then we have an applique stitch. It was pointed out to me excellently that the applique stitch is just a really sort of extremely close zigzag stitch potentially if your machine doesn't have this as a separate stitch. So running stitches are weak, and please don't use them to construct your vest or your cape. It should be used for trim or maybe as a finishing stitch. These costumes, we're asking them a lot to bear weight, to shift. We're doing things with these soft part garments that you don't do with your t-shirt or with other types of costumes that maybe you build to wear one time to an event. These costumes, you want to build them to last, like hopefully a lifetime, or to last as long as you can make them last. And remember, you're going to have to wash them, you're going to have to remount things to them, you're going to have to adjust them continually. So you don't want to make the mistake of trying to rush too fast through constructing these pieces. It's too important. So that being said, what I actually recommend for construction of your vest is actually this back stitch. While the manual and the sewing machine sort of gurus are going to tell you that this is for stretchy fabric, I find that even in duck cloth, with the constant wear and tear that's going to be kind of like back and forth and load bearing, this stitch will make your vest last. Now these two zigzag stitches, these are excellent for attachments. Like if you, let's say, how are you going to close your vest? Well, if you happen to use webbing and clips in the back, this is the stitch that you're going to want to construct or attach your webbing to your vest with. It also is a good stitch for some slightly stretchy fabric. Both of those are, to allow the fabric to continue to stretch. In the case of actual elastic, you're going to want to probably use the zigzag stitch. And there's some great YouTube videos on how to sew that, because there's some special sewing techniques for that. Now, this applique stitch. This is your friend for attaching, like for something super heavy. I found that my cape was attached via webbing using the applique stitch. The other nice thing about the applique stitch is that if you are weathering your soft parts, you sew this stitch on, and that's where your webbing or your weathering stops. Look, we have these nice little fringes at the bottom, but they're not going to fringe or fray past this stitching, so it makes it excellent for weathering. So, and those are your basic stitches. As we talk about more in regard to like construction, you'll hear us refer to these stitches, but these are the most common ones you're going to use for costuming.